I'm by myself. And the golf course, when you look up at the hotel, there's all these rooms with balconies that overlook the golf course. And so my first instinct after I did it, I look up and I'm like waiting to see who saw it. And there's nobody out there. And nobody saw it. And I had this moment where I was like, it just doesn't feel as good. Like nobody to share it with.
Yeah.
And it was really really interesting moment in my life. I'll never forget it. So anyway.
Solidified that,
Yeah. It's better to do with someone else.
As a golfer, I've gotten more into golf. I actually we played that course at the last camp.
Oh, you did?
It was pretty fun, but
the ninth hole is
impressive.
It's not like 80 yards.
Yeah, still that's
no, but it was just it was such an interesting moment in like human psychology. I was like, it just doesn't feel that good.
Yeah,
but the better end of that story is you look up and all of your teammates are just.
That would have been epic. Can you? Oh shit! That would have been amazing.
Because we always had lunch right there and we're watching.
I know.
But no one was
nobody
there.
Which also tells you I was like a total loner. There's nobody with me. Should we try another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think? How do you feel about jalapenos?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love a jalapeno.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about spice in general? Do you like spice?
Love spice.
Yeah, spice is good.
Yeah, love spice.
I actually like that one.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
What's the peanut butter do to the spice? Like, how does it work with it?
Yeah, it mutes it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one.
If you threw something else in there, I don't know what, maybe like the turkey or something, that was really good. That's interesting.
That's a winner.
That's an interesting one.
Right?
That's very good.
We're back in the black with our average positive.
That was very good.
3 and 2.
All right.
All right. So, favorite goal you ever scored and why?
He has too many to choose from. So I'm sure that's tough. For me, I think one that pops to mind is the Gold Cup final we were playing in. For a couple reasons. The first one, it ended up being the game-winning goal in the last couple minutes, which was just again more about winning the championship with your team, right? But also the goal we gave up was my guy on the corner kick, so I just felt like it was more a feeling of relief when I scored that I didn't let the team down. Because I remember Josie Altidore after the game was like, it looked like I'd seen a ghost when they had scored, and he like looked at my face, and I was just like, oh my, it's a terrible feeling. So obviously for a lot of reasons it was my favorite goal, but it was definitely a relief to not have let the team down on that one.
That tells me a lot about you, actually. That's impressive, because a lot of guys would just celebrate the goal, be excited about scoring, and not remember what they did that could have let the team down. So good for you. I think what most people who know something about my career would say a goal I scored in the World Cup against Algeria that helped us advance to the next round. And I view that moment more, scoring in the last minute as doing what I'm out there to do. It's my job. So it wasn't the most exciting or difficult or challenging goal, but I realized people probably watching it brought a lot of joy to people, which is special. For me, scoring in a World Cup is really special. Really special. I was fortunate to do it a few times, and the feeling when you do that is really special. Probably the best goal that comes to mind is in my first MLS Cup in 2001. A ball came across the box quickly bouncing, and I just kind of reacted and put it in the top corner, and it was an important goal. It got us back level, and then we ended up winning. So that comes to mind as a more difficult, challenging goal, but I understand there's different reasons why a different goal might be.
Yeah.
Didn't let the team down.
Exactly.
Why it might be special.
Yeah.
How often do you get asked about that Algeria goal?
Yeah, a lot. It's cool. It's cool at this point in my life where I can also look back and appreciate it, but then hearing people's stories of what it meant for them or their family or where they were watching or what joy it brought them And that's really cool. And that's the beauty of sports, is that it provides something that nothing else does in our lives. And so you don't realize it, but some 9-year-old sitting home with type 1 is watching you score a goal, and it's like literally changing their life.
Yeah.
Literally changing their life.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that in the moment all the time, probably very rarely. But now I get to have the perspective of listening to people. The coolest story I heard about that goal, that game. So after the game, if you go back and watch the game, it's probably the dumbest thing I ever did. After the game, we're like, right at the end of the game, we have the ball and we're kind of keeping it in the corner and wasting time, whatever. And I grab the ball when the ref blows a whistle and I punt it like into the stands.
Yeah.
Which in retrospect is the dumbest thing. Like baseball players like catch the final out and they put it in their back pocket and they're like, you ain't getting that thing.
Exactly.
That's mine.
Yeah, you put that.
So anyway, so I punt it into the stands. So like 3 years later, our PR guy at the Galaxy says, hey, these guys want to come meet you there at the Algeria game. And do you mind saying hi to them after the game or after training? I said, sure. So they walk out and they have this ball.
No way.
And they're like, we caught the ball that you kicked. And I was like, no fucking way. It's amazing. So they had caught the ball and like I signed it and like that. Imagine what that meant for them. And that was really cool to see.
Wow, that's really cool.
That was really cool.
That's amazing. Jordan, do you remember, were you watching that goal when you scored it?
I don't remember exactly where I was, but I definitely remember the moment, and I've been asked like what my favorite national team goal is of someone else, and that one always is my answer because it's just how impactful it was. Like Landon said, for the country, and I think just for the sport in general. In America, I think it was just a big moment, and obviously the sport's grown so much, so it's exciting to see. But yeah, well, again, I remember watching, like I said earlier, and being like, I want to just play in the World Cup someday, and I think that inspiration that goal provided to so many was super special. So it was awesome.
Let's talk about the national team and international soccer a little bit more. So, you know, what for you guys? What's the difference between playing for the national team versus playing for your club?
I mean, it's just an incredible honor. I remember the first time I put on the jersey and listened to the national anthem, and it just all felt so surreal because it's what you grew up as a kid wanting to do is to represent your country and play for the national team. And this is such a weird story, but there was that commercial back in the day, like that Nike commercial of the kid. It never showed his face, but he like did all the training and eventually made his way to Man U, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that commercial.
Yeah.
But when I stepped on my first national team game, I like felt like I was that kid. Like I had gone through all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, like boom, I'm playing for the national team, and like it was just it's such a incredible honor. And I think every time you put on the jersey or every time you're called into camp, it's something that you can never take for granted because, like Landon said, not too many people get to do it, and it's what you kind of work your whole career for. So yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
The way I've processed it over the years is playing for my club team was kind of like my job.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's an amazing job, but it's your job.
Yeah.
And playing for your national team it's just a privilege.
Yeah.
Like it's a privilege. And
Sure.
most athletes don't get the opportunity to represent their country. I didn't realize it at the time, but it's a huge responsibility too.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility because there's so much national pride when the U.S. team plays, right? And so it's a big deal, and it's a bigger deal than I think people recognize. And sometimes, and I voice this at times, I get frustrated when guys don't take that responsibility seriously.
Yeah.
Because there are so many others who don't get the opportunity. And so I always want to remind players that it is serious, right? It's a serious responsibility. And yes, it's amazing and it's enjoyable and it's fun, but it's a responsibility. And you got to take that seriously.
So you guys will have different perspectives on this. Obviously, Jordan, with you being at camp and gearing up for 2022, huge year, and you kind of watching what's happening and having so much experience. What do you guys? What's your take on what the U.S. men are doing to be ready